to another B video. We're back in the Land SMP. So today, I just was busy for the past, day or so, and I've been, don't mind the fire. I was trying to get rid of some items, and I just kind of, there. Okay, well, that's it. So I got this here, and this one's I called it the Iron Mace, so basically we just sell some maces and stuff like that in here. Nothing like this has ever changed, but I also made this kind of, okay, there's a couple of them. I also made kind of like a pharmacy kind of thing in here. And we also had our creating of a forest. We all did that in that last video. Now we're going to go back to our kind of build that we were starting here. And we're going to kind of get that finished today. And probably over the next couple days I'm going to be spending more and more time trying to get some of these things. So let's just get to start today without going to too much. And we're just going to build up. Let's see about here. We don't need a double floor. Not a lot of them have double floors for most shops and stuff. So we gotta be careful. So we're just gonna go here, and we're just gonna go here. And remember what I said about choosing colors. Now, we chose the blue because it was just kind of a nicer color. Now we're going to give it a little bit of a distinction from the rest of the stuff that's in over here. Because we're going to be, like I said, adding tools and stuff like that will be here. We're going to be making some vendor stations so you could pick up things like swords and stuff like that. And it's kind of a good way to kind of you don't have to travel so far to get too many things. I don't think we're going to put too much. We're not going to bother with enchantments or anything like that. And also too, we're going to probably put some villagers. I don't know if we want to put them in here because most villagers don't trade besides weaponsmith tools, and then spending all that time to kind of figuring out which one is when we're going to need is kind of going to be tricky. I wish when it comes to doing villager eggs and stuff like that, that you could select the villager you need. So if you need more, I don't know, Fletchers, or if you need more butchers or whatever, then it would be kind of available and stuff like that. So that would be nice, because then everybody's waiting for that one particular villager to come, and then by then you cycle through probably 40, 50 spawn eggs. And if you're getting them and you kind of go into a survival situation, it doesn't help anything, because you're still going to cycle through quite a bit, and sometimes you have to go around and find the villagers you're going to need to get what you need done. So yeah, that would be handy. Yes, that one Enderman has been wandering around here for a bit, so don't mind him. He's just being a pain in the butt right now. He's just kind of zipping around again. Oh no, it's a horse. Let's see. What's a turkey doing out here? At least I don't think we have turkeys on. I know we did. I don't know if we still do. That's the thing. There we go. Now, I'm not going to put windows in all the fronts, because normally with some kind of distribution centers and stuff, they don't really have okay, so I thought it was there. Or another one of those iron golems that probably wandered off somewhere. But it's not. Actually, I found a few of the iron golems. They were underground, actually. So I guess they kind of got tired of trying to find all mobs up here. They decided to go underground to kind of deal with them down there. But, I mean, good luck to them if they're not being wandered off or, you know, killed or whatever. I don't think you can actually give them like resistance or anything. I don't think. I don't know if that's possible or not, but you know. I don't know if you can hear it, but my kitten and my cat are kind of playing right now. They're running around. They're driving me crazy today. They've been running around and just really being like playful, and I don't mind because it keeps my one cat really active and everything else. So she's been doing really well. The kitten's really doing healthy. She's really healthy as well. They're going to be going for their checkup very soon. Try to keep them as healthy as possible so they can live long lives and stuff like that. Even though they're indoor cats, we're thinking about getting maybe some heartworm medications and stuff like that. Just because the fact is, like, sometimes in older homes, and especially in cities, one of the few things is you get a lot of rats. And sometimes they do enter the home, and if they were ever bitten by one, the thing is they could get heartworms. They could get like all these problems, stuff like that. I never had to really deal with like rats for like probably 30 plus years. Other than one city that used to live, that it was big and everything, and they used to have like rats and stuff like that. Depended where you lived, that they were worse than other places. Some of the rats here can be actually quite big. I know some people may squirm at that, like, you know, like how big can they get? Well, they're like bigger than a kitten. Like my kitten, that's big as she is now, they're about that size. Like, they're pretty nasty little buggers. And so you just kind of have to really keep your eye out. Try not to put your garbage out too early, stuff like that, because that too. We do get cans to kind of keep a lot of the animals in that in check, but really, I feel even that is not enough sometimes, because they do get into anything. That's why it's hard to have it where, like, you put stuff out. You really got to watch it, because you don't want something that could potentially hurt your family. All right. I'm thinking we're going to make this a... Okay, what is there? Is there a corner on this one? No, there's no corner. Okay. I'm going to make sure you get your corners in. I like to put corners in. You don't have to if you don't want to. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 high, and we're going to come across. I'm just going to kind of speed this off here. Won't make it seem too boring here. And we're just going to fill up the ceiling. Now, the one thing I will be probably doing, and this is just the truth, the one building that we have over here, it's called blocks and stuff like that. This is also this color. Now, I was thinking instead of outlining it in like yellow as that one was, I was thinking maybe we could pick a different color, maybe an orange or something that could differentiate from the other one. Because I don't want people thinking like I'm kind of like doubling out on making the same thing twice. No, I'm not making the same thing twice. So I'm just trying to keep colors kind of basic and cool and stuff like that. This is just a nice color, and I just want to finish this off. We do get busy a lot, so I just don't want to be like working on this project for more than another few days or so. Because usually when it kind of does like that, I like to try to be moving on to another, fresh project and stuff. And this entrance is cool. I'm thinking like what we could be doing on that one is, like I said, when it comes to coloring, pick something that would kind of go off with that. What do you think? Should I go with like an orange, or should I go with the green? Because I don't want to go with like purples and stuff like that. That'll really ruin it. Like, we could do, like, a mix, maybe? Like, as if I do, oops. See, something like this. Not this, there. Sorry. And then kind of followed off with, like... I just don't want to make it look like a clown store, like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that looks sharp or if it just kind of looks off. Oops, board. There. I mean, it does give it a bit of a different type thing, and I was thinking too is you can actually like trim it out and like this. It would feel weird. Maybe I might change this. I'm not sure yet. I just want to kind of like give it like that outline kind of thing that I've always done. I mean, it looks good in some ways. And then what if I do like a green, like thing? I mean, it's definitely colorful. But they're not like hard colors to deal with. I'm not trying to kind of like copy like something from somebody else, but I'm just trying to decide on like styles and stuff like that. There's something like this, but I don't know. It's a very mixy kind of thing for me. You can do this, this. This. There we go. Oops. That might help. Because then it kind of keeps it separated to points. There. That's not too bad. I mean, I'm not sure about the coloring yet. That's something I have to really kind of decide. But I guess we'll leave the front like this for now. I won't worry about the sides as much. Due to the fact that, you know, give me a chance to really decide if I want to keep the colors, not keep the colors, whether or not. Anyways, let's get down here. We still need things like roofs, and we still need things like vendors and stuff like that we could do kind of like our idea. So let's just say if we did something, I don't know, say like a brown or something, because I don't want to take away from the other things. Oh, that's not the right color. Okay, there. Yeah, that's too short. I guess it depends on how high I want to put this, wouldn't it be? Because if you're doing so, can this be, well, yeah, it's still high. Okay. Wait, okay. So right here, okay. That I could live with. Alright. One. And then we'll just make another one. Or something like that. I don't know. A lot of this is going to be a play and go on how I'm going to feel about it. And I was thinking, like, for some of the other things for storage before we start, like, working on roofs and stuff, is kind of like doing this and kind of like lining these. Oops. Here we go again. I had that a few days ago and I could just ring everything. Okay, there. Right. I'm going to go past 3 because then you can't really reach it. There, how's that? 3 and 3. There you go. There. Put it over here. Alright. Because then I could get away with a few more vendors in here. I'm going to eventually put in maybe some cats or something in here because I keep these guys out. I worry about them kind of like being set off by mistake. And then, like, if you've got stuff in here, it would be like pretty much kaput and then you're kind of like done. And we could do something like this. I know I'm really rushing this one. Yeah, okay, see, that's one thing I gotta be careful. There. There we go. I mean, I don't know how many stalls I want to put in here. Probably would just say one more stall or something like that. That would probably be. Good enough. I think that should be enough stalls. I don't think I would need too many. I know we got a few weapons, but I think we have too many. I mean, there's a little bit of space left. I could put a few more, I guess, in here. Maybe work later on with like a secondary floor or something. That would probably be a working thing. So yeah. Now moving to the top, I'm just gonna probably do something like the tiles. I think that would be kind of good. Now we're gonna put this all away because I'm gonna get confused quickly there. And let's go across. Let's put this in here. And I'm just gonna kind of run it around, stuff like that. I also want to leave like a little bit of space for like some lighting things, and I don't want to. And usually that's why when I'm making these kind of like larger builds, I try to leave a bit of a higher roof because like sometimes you may want to put like a bit of a higher kind of ceiling for some drop ceilings or whatever. I will fix that up later. This is like kind of more of like one of my more interesting colored type builds, but it just goes to show you don't need to necessarily follow like a whole like one singular color plan for the entirety of everything. Now this is just kind of more of like a distinctive kind of thing where you can actually just, you know, come in, do a couple trades, be done. You're out, right? You're not going to be like spending all your time in here. Now, I don't know if I should really pull up like the roof kind of thing further across. I'm not sure. If I do, I could do something like this. That kind of gives like a secondary cover, I guess. Oh, that's not bad, I guess. It kind of gives you that feeling of completion and stuff like that. So most times, like you can see, I could build a little faster. Sometimes I'm a little bit slower. It depends on my day. I'm having a better day today, so I'm a little bit faster with some of my building. And I don't want to overrush every build that I'm doing, so sometimes like I might work on a fast build, but then I'll kind of, you know, cut it off and have a bit of a more of a, like a build for just something slower where I'm going to take my time and really kind of decide on a lot of stuff. So usually I'll do like a house, or I might do an apartment complex or something. Now those require more concentration because you're going to pull with something that could, you know, look a little bit nicer. This still looks okay. This is still kind of like, this is not like anything fancy, mind you. I mean, hardware stores aren't like the fanciest place to be. I mean, you want fancy, go to a restaurant. Or if you want something more, like, I mean, you can always add floors to these things, okay? Like, how hard is it? Not that extreme hard. Of course, it does mean like you would have to dismantle your top roof and you have all your supplies for the interior and stuff like that. But I mean, you can have as many floors as you need. You could do 16, 24, 34 floors. I don't know. Yeah, all the possibilities are up to you. I don't like to keep things more than a couple days. This is, like I said, it's been about a couple days. Stuff like that. So I just don't want to keep this more than just today and kind of that. Now, to put the stuff inside, though, might take a little longer. That's probably going to be one of my, like, slow down kind of parts, where I'm going to have to take my time, decide on the tools, kind of fill up the vendors and stuff like that. Decide whether or not I'm going to add, like, things like villagers or whatever to kind of, like, I guess give it a feel that, you know, they're watching the place, stuff like that. But mindful that if you are going to put villagers, you may want to give them a place to rest, because they do sleep. And it would give you like a thing like where the store's kind of like closed and stuff like that. Because I'm usually when I'm in a creative, I usually don't like to sleep a lot because due to the fact I don't worry about anything and not worried about like, you know, zombies attacking me. I still do kind of worry about when creepers and that kind of blow up my builds and stuff like that, but not as much as all the other things. So that's another big factor that I kind of go in when I'm kind of doing these things. How long is it going to take me to do the rest? Probably a month. Less. Like I said, I don't have much like time in creative, so I'm going to be probably speeding up most of these, trying to get like as many builds done in the next couple days. So like kind of like I'm not, I think, because usually when it comes to roofs, it takes me forever because I have to, you know, first of all, I have to build to get to the roof. And then if I run out of supplies, I got to build down and then rebuild up. Or usually I put like a staircase or something, just to kind of help me out with all that stuff. So that's another thing I really have to be considerate about, especially if I want something larger. So we do invite everybody to come on in to enjoy like, you know, these builds and stuff like that. Like I said, leave a comment and we'll send you out an invite. We usually leave the realm open, but you know, we want to be careful, like not to have like hackers just like randomly popping in. So it's usually by invite and stuff like that. So I'm almost done here. And then we're going to finish with today is just doors and lighting. And then I think for today that will do it. And like I said, I'm going to spend the next day or so, maybe just tonight, and kind of like put in the tools and stuff that I'm going to need to fill these things in. And then it'll make it feel a little bit nicer as well. Alright, so almost done. You can see skeletons are already spawning in. That's one thing about dark. They do love it. Now, once you usually put lights in, most will kind of like, you know, vanish and go back. I might even like put a couple golems in here just to kind of keep the place kind of secure. I haven't had builds, even though they were well lit, they were still carrying like zombies and stuff like that. So like that's kind of one of the few things. All right, we're in. Yeah, it's pretty nasty in here. These guys are kind of like rubbing up here. Just before somebody says, like, why didn't I fix this earlier? I'm going to do that now. And I'm just going to, boop, there you go. There we go. And just like my one build, I'm going to probably just do the two, like, kind of idea. Now, most of these zombies and that probably won't leave as easily, so I'm going to probably just, like I said, put the iron golems in here to kind of keep them from respawning or whatever. Now, most mobs, once it starts getting more like brighter in most areas, will leave. I don't know if that's going to be the case. But we want to be sure that we don't have them keep constant respawning in here. That's not bad, and it's a decent amount of light. Alright, well, let's go get this thing. We're gonna get that going here. There he is. Alright, get to work, buddy. Not gonna make it easy for these guys. Score 2 for these boys. So anyway, now I did put those doors up, but I didn't want them to kind of like try to escape and be done with it. So I'm gonna just swap them out for some different doors. Here we go. All right, that's good. And the final last little bit is to put the light inside the front, and we're good. I think we should be all right. You know, I don't sometimes do anything and like my hand hits it. There we go. And again, I'll have to go get my... I should have just left it in like my inventory, but yeah. You never know. Right? Anyway. Looks good. There's lighting in it. You know, if you really want, you could do like more lighting, of course. That's why I make sometimes my roofs. What's going on here? Okay. There we go. There we go. That's why sometimes the advantages of having a little bit of a larger roof, you can do stuff like that. And that gives it like more light so you can see things and stuff like that. And the chances are less like things are going to be spawning around it or in it. So there we go. But anyway, so here we go. We're all done for that. Like I said, I'm going to be filling up the chests and stuff like that. That might take me another day, like a few hours or so. And I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have yourselves a great day. Cheers!